The laughter hit first. Sharp. Careless. Too loud for the size of the room. My son's fork froze halfway to his mouth. He didn't look up. He didn't cry. He just went still. Like a small animal that learns the sound of a trap before it snaps. Some kids just don't have brains. My sister said, smiling into her wineglass. The room agreed with her. I felt something in me tilt. Not break, tilt. A quiet recalibration. The kind that happens before a storm decides where to land. I watched my son swallow nothing. I watched my sister bask in it. I watched my father look at his plate if it might save him. I said, calmly, no. You don't have a brain. Which is why I'm refusing to finance your startup. The silence fell like a body, my sister's face drained of color. My father leaned toward me, voice trembling. Please. He whispered. Don't do this. I folded my napkin once. Carefully, and I thought it's already done. I used to believe family was a shield. Not perfect. Not gentle. But protective by default. I grew up filling the gaps. I paid for textbooks when our parents couldn't. Covered rent when my sister chased her. Next big thing. I was the steady one. The quiet investor. The person who never asked for credit and never raised their voice. My sister, Mara, called it confidence. I called it appetite. She failed fast and often. I learned early that if I didn't step in, the fall would be louder. So I stepped in. Again and again. Loans that turned into gifts. Promises that dissolved into excuses. When my son was born, something shifted. I noticed how she spoke around him. Not to him, around him. Like he was furniture, like he was a mistake with manners. He was quiet, observant. 5 years old and already fluent in silence. That night at dinner. He wore the sweater I'd picked because it was soft and blue, and made him feel brave. He practiced his letters with focus that embarrassed adults. And she laughed at him. The room laughed with her. That was when I realized shields only work if you hold them. After the laughter died, no one apologized. That was the clue. Mara recovered quickly. She always did. She launched into her pitch without missing a beat. Slides jargon. Big words arranged to sound like certainty. She spoke about disruption. About intelligence. About building something real. I watched her hands. They shook when she thought no one was looking. I listened to the numbers. They didn't line up. My father nodded along. Desperate for harmony. My mother stayed quiet, the way she did when she didn't want to choose sides. My son traced circles on the table with his finger. I felt the doubt settle in, not about the insult, but about everything that came before it. How many times had I covered for her? How many lies had I smoothed over because it was easier than naming them? The betrayal wasn't loud. It was cumulative, and suddenly, I wanted proof. I didn't confront her. I never do things that way. I waited until the house was asleep. Until the walls stopped pretending to listen. I opened my laptop and followed the money I'd already given her. Clean transfers. Shell accounts. Inflated invoices, a co-founder who didn't exist. Another who existed twice under different names. Then I found the email. A thread I wasn't meant to see. My sister writing to an investor friend joking about me. Calling me predictable, safe. He'll fund it, she wrote. He always does. He feels guilty about being the smart one. I reread that line until it stopped hurting and started instructing. The betrayal clicked into place with a clarity that felt almost kind. She hadn't just insulted my son, she had underestimated me. I didn't sleep much after that. I didn't need to. Silence became my ally. I watched. I documented. I waited for patterns to repeat themselves. They did. Every lie had a timestamp. Every fake expense left a fingerprint. I copied everything, backed it up twice. Labeled it like evidence, not memory. I rehearsed nothing. I planned everything. At work. I finalized the last transfer she was expecting, the one that would keep her illusion alive. I delayed it by exactly 12 hours. I scheduled dinner at our parents' house. I suggested wine she liked. I sat where the light would hit her face. My son asked if he could bring his book. I told him yes. Silence isn't weakness, it's storage. When I spoke, I didn't raise my voice. I'm not financing your startup. I said steady. I'm dissolving my involvement. Mara laughed automatically. You can't. We're past that. I slid my phone across the table. Her laughter stopped halfway through the screen. Fraud, I said. Misrepresentation. Tax exposure. Pick your favorite. She reached for the phone. I took it back. My father whispered my name like a warning. Mara tried to speak. I kept going. You mocked my son. I said. You called him brainless in a room full of people who thought it was funny. And you did it 'cause you believe intelligence is loud. I leaned back. It isn't. Her face went pale. Not from guilt, from math. I've already sent the files to my lawyer, I said. If you walk away quietly, they stay there. If you don't, they don't. The power shifted, you could feel it. Like a change in air pressure. Mara didn't cry, she didn't apologize. She stared at me like she was seeing a stranger, maybe she was. We left early, my son held my hand in the car. He didn't ask questions, he never does right away. At home, he sat at the table and opened his book. He pointed to a word he'd been practicing. Can you help me with this one? He asked. I smiled. Real this time, of course, I said. You're very good at learning. Later, when the house was quiet again, I thought about the dinner. The laughter. The moment everything changed. I didn't feel victorious. I felt clean. Some people mistake silence for emptiness. They think if something doesn't speak, it doesn't think. They're wrong. Some kids don't have brains, she said. She never noticed the ones that were watching.